Hello and welcome back, my fairies. I am Matsuyorific, and we are back with the Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir Awakening movie. It is finally out. And I'm still sick. I was feeling better, and then I ate something last night that did not sit well, and I got no sleep. So yeah, I am running on no sleep, and my stomach is not too happy with me right now. And I have a movie to review. So yeah, I haven't, at this point of the recording, I have not watched the movie yet, because I want to talk about some things with it first. So this should still be kind of short, though, because we don't really know that much about the movie itself, other than we know that this is an alternate reality. So everything that happened in the show is non-canon. Literally the only thing that's the same is that we have the same characters with these magic jewels and the Kwamis, and there's Hawkmoth and all that. We'll find out if Gabriel is as terrible a parent as ever. We also know that Hawkmoth is able to akumatize more than one person at a time, because we've seen him in a shot with multiple villains surrounding him. So that'll be interesting. We know that Le Mime is going to be back, or The Mime, whom we haven't seen since his debut episode. We've seen the actual person. He's Milen's dad, and he's also a janitor at the school. But yeah, we haven't seen The Mime ever since the episode The Mime. There's been no The Mime 2. Which is interesting. But yeah, we also know that there is going to be a school dance, and Marinette gets this really pretty ladybug-inspired dress, which is also why I decided to draw Adriana in a starlight-inspired dress, so I hope you enjoy this piece over here to my side. So yeah, that's about all we really know. Oh, and also that it's a musical, so I'll get to talk about the songs! I just realized that I don't think I've ever actually reviewed a musical on this channel. I really should review the Christmas movie. But, yeah, if I ever get around to going back and reviewing the rest of the series, then I'm sure I'll get to that eventually. But, yeah. Oh, I said Christmas movie, but it's not a movie. It's a special. It's a special. Which takes place in a really weird time because, like, okay, well, Christmas is near the end of the year, but it's supposed to be the start of the year, and it's like, what? And by the time that Christmas would come around in the show, canonically, Gabriel would no longer be going by Hawkmoth, so yeah. The show has so many timeline issues. I mean, Adri gets 2 birthdays. Not in the show. He gets an extra birthday in the game, which has been confirmed multiple times by Zagtoons to be canon, so yeah. Try and explain that one. Anyways, I'm gonna go watch the movie, and I will be right back. Also, I do apologize if this review ends up being really long, because it's a movie. I'm used to reviewing shows, so yeah. Be right back. Okay, so, now's the part where you get to the part of the video where you realize why I put a sticker in the thumbnail. Why I put the meme gold star sticker in the thumbnail. Yeah, you tried. Congratulations, you tried. I did not like this movie. I'm sorry, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but I did not like this movie. Especially not as a movie. Like, there were some parts that were good. Yes, I will give it that. There were some parts that were good. But there were also some choices made that was like, what? What? Why? Why did you do this? Why did you think this was acceptable? So, yeah, I guess, not really much else to do aside from to get right into it. So, the movie starts off with, Master Fu, who senses that, he senses that, Gabriel has activated the Butterfly Miraculous we also, see him activating it as well. Well, not really. Not really that. Okay, sorry. I'm confused. So it's being narrated by Master Fu. Okay. Sorry. I'm just gonna go back and play this over myself. So it starts off being narrated by Master Fu, who talks about the butterfly miraculous and the other miraculous as well. How the butterfly miraculous is feared for its power, and that only these two miraculous can do anything. And he's like actually talking to the audience because it was like staring right at the camera, giving this exposition like, this is a little bit of lore about the movie you're about to see. And then we get the title card, we cut to Paris. I will admit, it was kind of a nice touch seeing the butterfly flying through the logo and into Paris. That was a nice touch, a little bit of foreshadowing there about that. But the butterfly then flies over towards the Dupan Chang Bakery. And we get to see a little bit of Tom and Sabine. I do love Tom's apron. It's super adorable and I love it. But I will admit, we kind of needed a little less Tom in this movie. And then Marinette comes downstairs and she's like getting ready for school, and that's when Tom lays it on her. Yeah, by the way, I'm actually going to be driving you to school. Oh my gosh, are we all ready to go? Because I'm taking you to school and I'm going to bring these cute little cupcakes with unicorn designs on them, and you can share them with all your little friends. And it's like, Tom, she is 14. Let her be 14. Tom. So Marinette's like just accurately freaks out, like, oh my gosh, no. Sabine makes Tom think, oh, I smell something burning. Oh no, the chiquettes. Or baguettes. I'm so used to them having chiquettes in the show. It's like, oh yeah, they have more than just chiquettes. So Sabine then, tells Marinette, not to worry about the people at school and everything, because the only thing that really matters is how you feel in your heart. Just be yourself, and it doesn't matter what the other kids think. You just have to believe in yourself. Oh my goodness. You just have to believe in yourself, Marinette. Like, on the surface, this is decent advice, but like, it leads into what I feel is the absolute worst song in the movie. It's essentially Marinette's I Want song. And like, it kind of gives off a bit of a feel like they were trying to go for a little town vibe. From Beauty and the Beast, how you get Belle walking through town and she's singing about little town full of little people. And it's all about how Belle is an outcast. Well, this song is like, instead of Belle singing about feeling like an outcast, Belle did not sing about how she was an outcast. It was everyone else who was looking at her, but Belle was confident in herself. And yes, we know in the show that Marinette was bullied and everything, but in the show, she at least still had some self-confidence, some sense of self-worth. She was bummed about Chloe, but she wasn't like all, woe is me, I can't believe in myself. I wish I could believe in myself. Wouldn't it be great if I could just believe in myself? That is all this song is. It's Marinette whining about how she wishes she could believe in herself. And that's kind of like the first half of the movie is Marinette not being able to believe in herself and just using that as an excuse. Like, oh, like she even admits out in the open that, oh, it's an excuse. I make excuses. But like, the song itself, I really didn't like the song itself either. And it wasn't even just the words. You get this animation of Marinette, daydreaming about fashion and drawing in her notebook. And you get this feeling that it's supposed to be, you know, I wish I could believe in myself. Wouldn't it be great? Because then I could see my dreams come true. And these are the things that I dream about. But instead, the animation tells us what she's dreaming about. And the song doesn't. And it's like, that's kind of the whole point of an I Want song. This is the thing that I want. I wish I could have it. And there's this thing stopping me from being able to have it, but I still want to have it. And Marinette, that's not included at all in the I Want song. They forgot the I Want in the I Want song. It's just like, why? Why was this a thing? Somebody wrote this song. And it feels like they're just forcing it so hard to be a ballad because she sings so soft-spoken the entire song. Even when you do get to the part where it's like, oh, her sketchbook is floating around her and everything looks so magical and people around her are just, you know, magically changing into her dresses and dancing and everything looks so magical. But she's still this slow and it's all quiet and all like this. Like if the song, you know, going back to the example before of Little Town, if the first part of Little Town was just all of Little Town, and it's like, you got all this magical stuff going on, there's so much energy in the animation, but there's no energy in the song whatsoever. We could have easily skipped this. But anyways, Marinette then ends up in front of what I'm assuming is Gabriel's studio, and we actually see Gabriel is leaving his house. I know I made this joke before in my trailer reviews, but who is this man and what has he done with Gabriel Agreste? He left his house. He's not even putting on an air. He left his house. I know that this is not the show, but it's like, wow. We also get to meet Natalie here as well, and we see kind of like an alternate version of the Diamond Dance dress, except that the roses are red instead of white. But yeah, then Gabriel walks in and he's like, you know, doing fashion stuff. It's kind of a slow scene. It's just like kind of establishing that Gabriel is a fashion designer, and that's really about it. There's like not really much to it. Like, I feel like we could have instead gotten a scene of them at home, because we really don't get much of the Agreste mansion and like Adrian and his home life. We just see that things are, you know, frustrating with his father and everything, and that's about it. And it just cuts, and then it just cuts to the school, which again is like, okay, interesting. Marinette is walking up. Nino, Marinette is running up to the school. Nino comes skating by and knocks Marinette. Oh no, okay, it is the other way around. Marinette walks up to the school. Nino comes skating by, knocks into Marinette, who knocks into Chloe, and gets a little coffee drop on Chloe's shirt. Which, okay, this was at least in character. This at least fits with Chloe's character, because yeah, she would get mad about a coffee drop on her designer shirt. And we see all the other characters nearby just like reacting and like, oh my gosh, so, this is such an atrocity. Like, how, like, oh my gosh, oh, she's in for it now. And like, we see Chloe like looking like she wants to kill Marinette, and then Alia comes along, and at this point it's almost like you don't even know who Alia is. Like, oh my gosh, so much of this is them relying on you having already seen the show and knowing who these characters are. Because Alia basically acts like she already knows Marinette. It's coming to the rescue with her camera, being like just starting to film this. And she's like, oh, you wanna be careful there, Chloe? Because, you know, you're being filmed right now. She's like, oh my gosh, Marinette, you know, we're just gonna be best of friends. Like, yeah, no. And then Alia goes up to talk to Marinette, and that's when they establish, that Alia's new, but she's actually heard about Marinette. It's like, oh yeah, I know that you're clumsy, and that's like totally awesome. I can't wait to get all these really cool shots of you, because like most people have to try super hard to fail that bad. It's like, what? This is supposed to be their conversation that endears themselves to each other. And Alia starts off by insulting Marinette. She's like, yeah, most people have to try to fail that hard. What? Like, this is so off. So then they're like, yeah, okay, well, we can be friends and everything. And it's like, okay, so this is where you finally establish that Alia is new and everything. But really, they didn't even have to have her be new. Like, it would have made more sense for them to just be like, okay, yeah, Alia is already Marinette's best friend and everything. Because then they wouldn't have to provide this extra exposition dump that provides absolutely nothing to the story. Like, it would have been just as easy for them to say, oh yeah, Marinette only has one friend. She just has Alia and that's it. And it would have changed nothing about the story. And then we could have actually shortened this part for more stuff later on in the movie, but we'll get to that. Oh my gosh, the writing of this is so clunky. So we get a little montage of Marinette just kind of failing at school, and Alia just being like, hey, thumbs up, you did good, Marinette, you tried. It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, she's like trying to be supportive of Marinette and everything, but it's like, And then Marinette causes an explosion in Chem Lab, and Alia's like, what? That was so cool! It's like, Alia, please stop. Like, it was kind of funny seeing her, like, giving Marinette, like, the encouraging thumbs up, like, it wasn't that bad, I promise. But it's like, then her being like, oh, that was so cool. Like, really? So then we get another establishing shot of Gabriel being like, oh, yes, I'm a designer and everything. And really, this is all we needed to establish that Gabriel is a designer. We didn't even need that other scene. Again, we could have just gotten a scene of them at home and his interactions with Adrian. And he walks up to this dress that apparently he designed for Emily, that she had actually asked him to design for her. And it's like, Gabriel, when are you going to make my dress? Gabriel, when are you going to make my dress? And apparently this dress is, like, they give you context clues to tell you that this is the dress that he was making for Emily. And he's like, oh, Emily, I wish I could have seen you in this dress. It's like, okay. Like, this would be enough right here to tell us his motivations. In fact, the other scene, again, didn't really give us any motivations or anything for Gabriel. It's like, okay, yes, this is all we needed to know that he was a designer. They didn't have to give us that whole shot earlier. Like, yes, it was like it transitioned well after the song, but that was about it. Like, if you're writing the story around the songs, you're not really making a musical. Like, so many of the songs in this just feel like they're shoehorned in because they have to have a song here. And it makes no sense with the plot. It's like, it really doesn't. I'm sorry. I know. I keep ragging on this movie and like only 9 minutes into like what actually happens. Alright, so we then get a little bit more of establishment with him, like, he flashes back to when he found the butterfly Miraculous, and that's about it. Like, and receiving the Miraculous, and it's like, oh yeah, this, and the guy that he gets it from is like, oh yeah, this jewel, it scares me. It scares everybody. It's like, okay, interesting. And then we cut back to the school, and Marinette and Alia are talking again. Alia is still trying to be supportive of Marinette, but then they split up, and then Marinette is walking down the halls, and oh my gosh, these kids are jerks. Like, everybody's watching Marinette and talking about her, like, oh yeah, she's so clumsy, watch out for her, don't go near her, she's super clumsy. Like, rude. And then Chloe comes along, and she's like, oh, Marinette, I believe I promised I was going to kill you. And I do like how Marinette actually escapes from them. It's like, oh, is that someone else wearing a Gabriel sweater? because Chloe actually says earlier that it's a Gabriel Agreste sweater. So Marinette used the opportunity to run, and she hides in the library. And she gets this scene that we saw in, the teasers, where she meets Adrian in the library. So she's just kind of sulking in the library and crying and stuff. And you do kind of feel it, but at the same time, you spent so much time on the song that we don't get as much time to spend on her actual feelings here. But then Adrian comes along, he pulls a book off the shelf and sees her through the bookshelf. And it's like, are you okay? You look like you're crying. Are you okay? And she's like, yeah, no, I'm okay. It's like, okay. And then she's like, starts trying to peek through the books to get a better look at him. Like, who is this guy? Starting to, develop a little bit of feelings for him, love at first sight, all that. Which, it's a movie. I will let this slide in the movie because they don't have much time to establish everything. And Adrianette, the love square is actually one of the few things that they actually did well, aside from one bit, but we'll get to that later. So she goes around the bookshelf to try and get a better look at him, and then she falls. He tries to check on her, and the books fall all over her. We've all seen that scene in the teasers. And then we get one of the most anime tropes of all time. He goes to help her up, gives her his hand, and then we get the bubbles, and you see it's Marinette Vision. It's like, oh, he's so handsome. Like, I'm so nervous. It's like, yeah, this is so anime. Like, oh, this trope has been played to death. And Marinette's just like, oh my gosh, what is this feeling in my hand? Like, who is this guy? Then she turns around and he's gone. Which we then see Adrian going out into the hallway and talking with Nino. And again, if they had given us a bit where Gabriel and Adrian were talking at home and seeing a little bit more of Adrian's life at home, this could have been explained so much better. Because in the show, Adrian wasn't allowed to go to school and make friends. That's why he wanted to go to school, because he felt isolated and alone, and he wanted to go to school and make real friends. He wanted to make real connections. And when he meets Nino, Nino is his first friend aside from Chloe. But in this movie, he already knows Nino, and even though they do talk about it in the movie that he's not allowed to attend school, he's still at the school. So is he allowed to go to school or what? Is he just supposed to... Does he, come to the school and sit in the library all day? Is that how he met Nino? Because the two are already friends. It's like, what? If we had gotten that shot that I had mentioned before of Adrian and Gabriel at home talking, we could have had, some sort of establishment here of, Adrian being like, I want to go to class. And Gabriel is like, no, you're going to study in the library. You're not going to go to class. You're not going to interact with these people. And then we see Adrian disobeying that and talking to Nino. That would have been great. But no. Who needs establishment for Adrian? Why would we establish Adrian's character as anything other than Marinette's love interest? Why would we do that? Why? What? Why? It's not like his name is in the movie's title or anything. Anyways, so they talk about how Adrian's dad doesn't let him go to school and everything, and this is where we get that exposition. And then we cut back to the Agreste house, and this is where we get the bit of finding out that Gabriel is cold towards his son, and Adrian is kind of sick of it. Natalie is trying to, tell Gabriel his schedule and everything. And she's like, and also dinner? It's like, what? Dinner with your son? Yeah, no, I'm not going to that. And then he just shuts the door on her. And then she turns around and Adrian is right there. But at the same time, it's like, you literally just met him. If you haven't seen the show, then there's not really much to feel here. Like, they are very heavily relying on you having already seen the show and already knowing what the dynamic is between Adrian and Gabriel. But we didn't get that in this movie. Instead, we get, Adrian goes to his room, and then Gabriel goes and looks at this family portrait. And, gosh, Adrian is adorable. But what is going on with Gabriel's hair? Oh my gosh. You guys, I'm sure you guys remember when we got to see younger Gabriel in Migration. What was it, Migration? The episode where they're traveling through time, and we got to see younger Gabriel, and I was just like totally simping, like, oh my gosh, he is a snack. That was with the brown hair. This, he has a "can I speak to your manager" haircut. He literally has a Karen haircut. It's a shoulder-length bob. Why? Why does Gabriel have a Karen haircut? Who thought it was a good idea to make him look like a Karen? What? Oh my gosh, it just does not look good on him at all. But at least baby Adrian looks adorable. It's like, oh, he's cute. He's so cute. He's just a little bean. He's so cute. But, yeah, anyways. We then cut to Adrian, who's looking at the same picture in his room. And he just sort of starts wandering around the house, and he sees the exact same picture that's also in their house as well. And then we also see Adrian leaving the house and just sort of walking around. He does look like... They do kind of explain this later, but they also don't really give us much time to really understand who Adrian is in this movie. And if you've seen the show, you're expecting Adrian to be like, yeah, this kind of sucks, but, my father, he's still sad about my mom, and, I just gotta be patient with him, 'cause maybe things will get better, and he's also not allowed to leave the house. Like, apparently Gabriel is at the very least, less strict with Adrian, so at least that's a good thing. Because Adrian can actually leave the house at night and wander around Paris by himself. But anyways, he goes to this theater, and we get, some tender touches along the curtains and everything. And then we see Adrian basically, imagining his mom on the stage. And it looks like she's accepting some sort of acting award, or singing or whatever. Like, we can only assume that she's receiving like some sort of acting accolades, because in the show we know that she acted in a movie. If you hadn't seen the show yet, there's no way to know that in this. It's like, okay, it looks like she was some sort of performer or something. Heaven knows what kind. Not like you need to explain that, because this is a theater. Like, an actual, musical theater, and not, like, a movie theater. So it very well could have been that she was, like, a singer or, a performer or something. So, it's, really not established very well. Yeah, she looks like she's, waving to the audience and looking back at Adrian and reaching out for him to join her. And you see the lights, this is one of those things that they actually do fairly well. You see the lights start to come back on Adrian's face, and he smiles and reaches out for his mom, but then she's gone. And now we finally get this shot. Okay, so we do actually get to see a little flyer of... So we do get to... They do actually explain that. Okay, I'm glad they... Okay, so I will take that back, but, yeah. It's still not a whole lot. But, apparently she was actually a performer and everything, and Adrian, really liked watching her perform, but now she's gone. So we do get to actually see, we finally get to see a little bit of establishment for Adrian. It's like, oh, he's sad because his mom is gone. But we still don't know the full extent of that until much later on in the movie. And then we get Gabriel, who he pulls out the Miraculous, and for some reason this next flashback takes place in Shanghai, where, he activated the Prodigious, or at least tried to. And then we see Nuru appear, and oh my gosh, Nuru's voice. Tiki and Plag, when we meet them later, have the same voices as normal. But Nuru is like super deep and feminine, and it's like, no, this is not the purpose of the Miraculous. You cannot use the powers this way. You will only cause destruction. And it's like, what? Like, it's, okay, admittedly, you can't really hold the movie against it too much, because this is one of those things that's like, if you haven't seen the show, it doesn't really affect you too much, because, oh, if you haven't seen the show, then you don't know what Noir sounds like. Okay, that's fair. But why is Noir the only one to get a new voice actor in this? That's so weird. Some of the other characters don't always sound like themselves either, which is, like, really odd. But then Gabriel is like, well, you know what, screw it all, I have nothing left to lose anyways, so I'll bring, let the chaos rain down. And, I will say this, though, I just noticed, I hope I remember to edit it in, but, when he puts on the Butterfly Miraculous and the moth and the Akumas all start appearing, we actually do get to see a shot of Adrian that is in the show. And I think this is actually taken straight from the show, because Adrian's hair in this shot is actually the way that it looks in the show. And so do the eyes. Like, yeah, all the photos on the wall are from the show. I just noticed that. They've got photos, they were using assets from the show? Excuse me. That's a completely different art style. It's a blink and you miss it thing, but oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't notice that before. I'm only noticing it now because I'm, playing the video in the backdrop while I talk to you guys so that I can, recap everything accurately. But, anyways, so we then cut back, we get a quick shot of Master Fu reacting, and then, it's the end of the school day, although it's actually nighttime, so it's not the end of school. So, like, what are they doing at school until this late? But, we then get the shot that we saw in one of the trailers of Chloe being like, oh, Marinette, I think I promised to kill you. And then Marinette's like, oh, shoot. And she leaves, running straight through Luca, Rose, and Ivan, who are having a conversation. And I'm still mad that they removed all of Luca's jewelry. His gauges are gone. His rings are gone. His bracelets are gone. Why? Why did you change Luca? But, anyways, so Marinette runs, and she runs through the street, nearly getting run over, and then she actually does get hit by a truck. The truck is stopping, so it doesn't actually hurt her, but gosh darn it, her body made contact with that truck. So, yeah, she nearly gets run over after running through traffic. And then also Master Fu, who's chasing after Tiki. Oh yeah, that was another thing I forgot to mention. When Master Fu reacts and senses that Nuru is active, he goes to the miracle box and is like, okay, you two, I know you're awake, and no fighting. Okay? No fighting. I know how you two are. No fighting. Spoiler alert. They never interact in the movie. Tiki and Plag never interact. So Master Fu telling them not to fight and emphasizing the fact that they like to argue with each other? Pointless. Completely pointless. Even though we do see later in the movie that the Kwamis can come out while they're transformed. Because we'd see that later. It might have just been for the musical, but anyways. So Tiki is possessing the earrings, and then Plag is possessing the ring. Although I guess it's more that, they're carrying them because, Kwamis can't be seen unless somebody's wearing the Miraculous. Master Fu is chasing Tiki, instead of Plague, who has the most dangerous Miraculous because it's literally the Miraculous of Destruction. He is the Kwame of Destruction. Dinosaurs, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Atlantis. Hello? But obviously you wouldn't know that in the show. But still, he's like, oh no, I'm gonna follow Tiki. And it's like, no, wait, we have to select them together. We have to choose them together. And then he runs along after Tiki. And again, this part is kind of pointless. They could have completely done without this. But Marinette is running from Chloe, and Master Fu is chasing after Tiki, and he actually manages to catch her and the earrings, even though we can't see Tiki yet. And Marinette sees him standing in the middle of the street, and she runs out to save Master Fu. And then again, they almost get run over, but the person manages to stop. And then she's like, are you all right? He's like, you risked your life to save me. You risked your life to save me. You saved me. You're going to save the world. It's you. You're going to save the world. She's like, what? It's like, Fu? You're acting a little crazy right now. I don't blame Marinette from running from you. What was your goal here? Going all crazy like this? And then have no idea how he managed to catch up to her because she runs off. Meanwhile, he's acting like his back is bothering him, but then he manages to cut her off. How did he catch up to her? She was running full speed. But she manages to give him the slip and hides out nearby the antique store. And then we see Chloe and Sabrina. They're kind of, following her. They're trying to find her. They lost track of her. And Chloe's like, how could you lose track of Marinette? Go find her. And then Sabrina goes, and she does happen to see Marinette trying to sneak off down the alleyway. But Marinette's, signals to her, like, please don't tell Chloe. And then Sabrina actually manages to pull a nice thing. It's like, no, she's not here. She got away. I'm sorry, Chloe. It's like, okay. Like, they made sure that Chloe did not have anything in the movie that made her seem redeemable, whereas whereas Sabrina actually does show that she is kind of redeemable. But then we get back to Adrian's room, and at first it was like this kind of cool thing. It's like, oh, you get to hear there's something underneath of his desk. He goes to investigate, and there's a black cat, like an actual black cat. And then you see a glow, and then he sees the ring glowing, and he goes to pick it up, and that's it. That's the end of the scene. We don't get to see Adrian meet Plague. There is nothing at all of Adrian meeting Plague. Just this random cat, and it's like, why? Again, if we cut out some of the stuff that I mentioned before that could have been cut, we could have gotten Adrian actually meeting Plague and learning about the Miraculous and stuff. But nope, we don't need to develop Adrian. He's just here to be a pretty face. That's about it. That's it. He's just Hawkmoth's son, and also is, one of his mortal enemies. That's fine. We don't need to develop Adrian. So we then cut to this completely random couple, who are definitely not background characters or anything. And this guy is just like proposing to his girlfriend, but then she's like, oh my gosh, everything is perfect. You set this up so perfectly, but yeah, actually I'm in love with someone else. So yeah, she breaks his heart. He runs off. We don't get a name for him or anything. And then we see the Akuma appear, and it goes into the ring, which doesn't really affect anything. Yes, that is how it works in the show. But in the show, when the Akuma goes into something, that object becomes the Akumatized object. You break that object to release the Akuma, and then you purify it. That's not what happens in the movie, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah, don't get attached to this character, because he's not going to be around for very long. So Marinette stumbles into the antique shop, where they actually do manage to let the scene breathe a little bit. with, you know, the ladybug appearing, and it lands on her finger and then her nose, and then it turns into actually Tiki. So that was Tiki, not just some random ladybug. And, you know, she just sort of, you know, flies around. She's still kind of like ethereal and everything. And it says, you know, he who saves a life saves the world, which is something that Master Fu was ranting about earlier. It's like, okay. Not really sure where this comes from. Maybe it's some sort of ancient Chinese philosophy or something. But it still seemed kind of random. So then Marinette, you know, she leads Marinette over with, you know, the magic circle and everything. And then Marinette finds the earrings, which it's like, I get that she had to do this, but like for the plot, the plot says she puts them in her earrings, or in her ears. But why? Also, how does she put those earrings on with one hand? Like she just sets them on top of her ear, and that's it. That's how she puts on the earrings. That's not how earrings work. Like, I don't wear earrings. I don't have pierced ears. But even I know that that's not how earrings work. Because, yeah, you have to have pierced ears for it to work that way. It still don't work that way. It's like, ugh. But anyways, Tiki then meets Marinette and gives Marinette no context. She's just like, oh yeah, you're the chosen one. You're a ladybug. And Marinette's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not the chosen one. What? She's like, yeah, you're ladybug. It's like, Tiki, you've been through this before. And then we get the next song, which is a little bit better than the first song, but still not great. I will say this though, I do really like how they basically made it like a rewrite of the theme song. It's like it had elements and tunes from the theme song itself. So it's like, you're a ladybug, stuff like that, but it's like really soft and gentle. But Tiki does nothing to like actually assure Marinette. And Marinette doesn't really do much to say, no, I can't do this. All she really says is like, well, you know, that I'm not a hero. I just make excuses and get scared and that's it. But she doesn't like really object too much here. Like, she does object a little bit, but it's like not really a whole lot. And Tiki completely ignores her. She's like, yeah, you're the chosen one, so you're going to do this. It's like, wow. And then apparently they don't need to see a transformation phrase, because she then just enters Marinette, and then Marinette transforms into Ladybug. And this isn't even when we get the transformation sequence. It's later on that we get the transformation sequence. So we cut back to Notre Dame, and we do get a scene that at least tries to breathe a little bit. We get this security guard who's walking around Notre Dame, and then, you know, after he walks around for a little bit and hearing some suspicious noises, the gargoyle appears. And then we get Marinette, or well, Ladybug is now messing around with her yo-yo and everything, which then, like, basically, you know, abducts her and takes her out around Paris, you know, just flying around Paris with her yo-yo, not even attached to anything. It's just, you know, dragging her to Notre Dame and then right into Cat Noir. They smash through the window. Yeah, that looks like a pretty expensive stained glass. And then we get a repeat of the scene from the show, where in the show they have this whole thing where it's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, I'm Cat Noir. Yeah, I'm Cat Noir. And you? I'm madly clumsy. Oh, no sweat, clumsy girl. I'm new to this too. And like, you know, they're friendly to each other. But in this, he's so sarcastic and snobby. Well, not really snobby, but like, he is so full of himself. Like, we do get some bits in the show where he, like, you know, he acts a little bit full of himself, but it's like usually just for show. Like, when he's, talking to Marinette, and it's like, oh yeah, that birthday boy of yours, yeah, he's bad news, so I'm gonna protect you. You get to be my ladybug. And then we also get the one scene in the New York special where he kisses his muscles. It's really about the extent of his arrogance, but in this scene, he is just full on arrogant. He's like, yeah, I'm the superhero around here. I guess you could be my sidekick, Watermelon. But yeah, I'm awesome, and everything I do is awesome, and I'm such a great superhero. And yeah, no, you don't really seem like you're that great of a hero. At least not as great as I am. It's like, that is not my baby. That is not my son. Who is this? What has he done with my sweet, kind boy? No, oh my gosh. Even when, like, we get the scene from the trailer where, he's, like, showing off and he sticks his baton in the gargoyle's nose, and he's still like, yeah, I'm good at this. Run, by the way, you're my sidekick. And he's just still constantly, boasting about how great he is while he's running away from this thing. It's so cringe. It's just, oh my goodness. But at least we get an actual fight sequence here. Like, this is the second best fight sequence, I will say. I'm sad to say which is the least best. But that will be much later on in the video. Anyways, so they fight the gargoyle. Cat Noir clings hold of the gargoyle, and this is important. He is holding onto the gargoyle this entire time. Ladybug then, wraps her yo-yo around the gargoyle's leg, and the gargoyle flies around Paris and drags her around. And, then there's the whole water skiing thing, and Cat Noir is underwater, still clinging to the gargoyle, while Ladybug is water skiing. Remember that. Ladybug was alone water skiing. Cat Noir was underwater. So the gargoyle then leaves the water. Cat Noir is still clinging to the gargoyle at this point. And they continue flying around Paris, and then the gargoyle starts to, gets hit by the train and everything. It's like, oh, okay, well, and Cat Noir's like, oh, yep, see, I told you, that's what you get for messing with Cat Noir, 'cause I'm awesome. It's like, oh, honey, please stop. This is not funny. This is so cringe. Oh my gosh. But anyways, Ladybug is still trying to catch up to them. So we see her, flying around Paris with her yo-yo. And we see Cat Noir, he's chasing after the gargoyle and everything. And there's a train coming. And Cat Noir's like, oh shoot, I gotta get out of the way. But then his tail gets stuck in the railing. This is the thing that I noticed. His tail is stuck. He cannot get it off. Or he can't get it out. It doesn't occur to him to remove his belt like we see him do all the time in the show. And then Ladybug comes along. He's still stuck to the railing, but then she comes along, swings in on her yo-yo, and is able to grab him. And suddenly he's free. He was stuck, and then that only applied for him to be, to have the train come along, and then all of a sudden he's free. We don't see him get his tail unstuck. He's just suddenly unstuck, and Ladybug saves him. And that's really about it. And then a person dies. Dude just died. The train hits the gargoyle, and it splatters into purple energy and smoke. Yeah, that man is dead. A kid's film. That man just died. We then could see Nadia Schmock reporting on the news, and she actually I love this bit. She's like, she gets her classic bit in. It's like, don't be bemused. It's just the news. It's like, ha, ha, she said it. She said the line. It's like, oh. But at the same time, it's like, that really hits more when you've seen the show. It's like, okay, just this random cutscene coming out of the blue. If you've seen the show, you know. If you haven't seen the show, it's like, okay. So Ladybug and Cat Noir then, are talking again, and apparently Ladybug saving his life is what made him fall in love with her. And they have a reverse of the exact same anime scene from before, where, she helps him up and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this girl. But at the same time, she's like so done with everything, like insulting him, insulting this whole thing with superheroes. Is like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this again. I hope I don't see you again. I hope we don't see any of this again. I don't want to see you again. I don't want to do this again. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm bye. Goodbye. And then he's like, oh, I love that girl. Yeah. That's the one thing about the Love Square that I don't like that they did in this. Because, like, yeah, earlier the thing with Marionettes, watching him in the library and everything, yeah, that was anime and was, like, but at the same time, it's like, it's a lot more toned down than what you see in the show. Because in the show, she ends up stalking him for 3 seasons until she finally realizes that, hey, this might not be the healthiest way to behave. This is actually kind of destructive and is negatively impacting my life. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Does it again. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, no, I was right the first time. I shouldn't do this. I'm completely done. Yeah. But anyways, so Master Fu comes along. He's in disguise, and, like, they don't understand who he is. But she's like, Ladybug's still like, yeah, no, I don't know who you are, but you're crazy. And yeah, I'm leaving. All of this is crazy. You guys are crazy. I hope I never see any of you again. And yeah, this is also frustrating. And yeah. And I guess this is kind of what they were trying to hint at before, with Master Fu telling Tiki and Plag not to argue with each other. It's like, oh, hey, now Ladybug and Cat Noir are arguing. It's like, stop it! Arguing sells nothing. You're stronger together. And it's like, oh, yeah, there's this whole, theme of, oh, you're stronger together. You have to work together. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure. And then Ladybug leaves after saying some more mean things to Cat Noir. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. My life has meaning now. And he has this song, which I'll admit, this song is sung pretty well. I don't think Bryce could have handled this song very well, because we know how he is with softer songs from the Christmas special. It was not good. I hate to say it. I love you, Bryce, and I love a lot of the characters that you play. You are an amazing voice actor. Just not a great singer. I could totally understand why they replaced his singing voice in the movie. I still don't understand why they didn't have Christina V sing, though. The Adrian singer, or Cat Noir singer, because he only sings as Cat Noir, but the Cat Noir singer actually sounds like Cat Noir. He actually sounds like Adrian. The Ladybug singer, Marinette singer, whatever, she doesn't sound like Marinette, aka Ladybug. She doesn't sound like Christina V. She sounds like a completely different person, and it's really off-putting. And it's like, why? Christina V is such an amazing singer. Like, she even sang a version of the theme song, but she had to do it as a fan cover with another fan of the show, because for some reason they wouldn't let her sing the theme song. What? Oh my goodness. But yeah, Ladybug runs off back home, changes back, and manages to change back just in time for Tom to come up and ask her about, advice about cooking. It's like, okay. Oh, yep, I'm glad I came up to talk to you because you had just the right answer for me. Love you. It's like, okay. I mean, it's at least establishing the fact that she just barely made it home. It's like, yeah, that's fine. That seems fine. And then you get, oh my goodness, this next scene. I hate this next scene we finally get Adrian and Plague interacting with each other. And Plague is farting the entire scene. And then we see that he has this box of camembert that looks absolutely disgusting. It is moldy. There is a smell coming off of it. There are flies surrounding it. The box is dirty. And he's like, got anything even more disgusting? And he just keeps farting. Natalie comes by to check on Adrian, and she even hears him talking in the room. She's like, Adrian, are you okay? It's like, oh yeah, I'm fine, Natalie. And then she smells it, and she looks like she's going to be sick. And she just backs away from, it's like, what is the target demographic again? I thought the target demographic was like 10 to 11-year-olds, not 3-year-olds. I could just hear a nostalgia critic watching this scene and then inserting that clip of him going, poop! Oh my gosh. Fart jokes are what you make to entertain 3-year-olds. 3-year-old boys. Not 10 to 11 boys and girls. Like, by the time boys reach that age, they're usually done with fart jokes too. Like, who is this for? Plague, stop farting. I need you to stop farting. Please. Let's get this hashtag going. Hashtag Plague stop farting. Oh my gosh. This is like, why? Hashtag Plague stop farting. Get it trending. I am so done with this scene. And it continues. The next scene that we see of them together, he's still farting. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's basically, you know, the same thing that we get in the show, where Adrian is like, oh my gosh, I think I'm in love with Ladybug. And Plague is like, yeah, no, trust me, kid. Yeah, it's not really worthwhile. Trust me, kid. It's not worthwhile. Oh my goodness. This is so disgusting. And then we get this back and forth, which is admittedly done rather well, when Plague isn't farting in the background. And you get this whole bit of Adrian, like, kind of being smug. It's like, oh yeah, she was so into me. It's like, oh my gosh, she was so arrogant. It's like, yeah, we're gonna fall in love. Like, oh my, like, I hope I never see him again. Like, what was going on with that guy? And it's like, okay, yeah, I've seen this trope before, yeah. But, then we actually stick around in the room a bit more, and Plague is still farting. Like, Plague, please stop farting. I need you to stop farting. Why am I talking about farts so much? Ah! So anyway, Marinette starts freaking out because, you know, she never asked for this, she doesn't want this, and she tries to toss the earrings out of the window. But she puts them back in a box, tosses them out the window, and then comes back in and hits her in the head. So she tosses it back out the window and then closes the window, and then comes back in from behind her and hits her in the head. She's like, what? How? How did you do that? So and then she's like, okay, fine then. So, okay, this is honestly did kind of feel like it was like out of the show. She grabs a bunch of stuff to, like, you know, put boxes on boxes. She's like, now what are you gonna do? And then Tiki just, you know, faces through it again, and the earrings just pop back onto Marinette's ears. Like, what? And then she's like, listen, Tiki, I don't want this. Please, just let me be alone. And Tiki finally is like, okay, I'll let this happen. We then get a very confusing shot of Gabriel, who's on the floor, and he looks like he was unconscious. And it, like, kind of feels like a Green Goblin sort of thing, where it's, I don't remember his name, but he's like, oh, you know, I don't remember what happened when I was the Green Goblin. But then it's like, oh, well, it looks like, we actually got the Ladybug and Black Cat Miraculous holders out. Okay, so I need to continue doing this. And then we get my favorite song of the film. I was talking before that Marinette's song was not it. Marinette and Tiki's song was not it. Cat Noir's song was pretty good, but this song slaps. Keith Silverstein, you killed it. Yes, yes, yes. Round of applause to Keith Silverstein. He killed it with this song. Oh my gosh, this was so good. And now I'm even more mad at the fact that we didn't get to have him sing the song in the show. And instead it just plays the French version in the background. And my friend Dem was even like, yeah, they did the same thing in the German versions. Like, I'm so glad he actually sings this song. And Nuru kind of sings along with him too. And this is where we learn that in this universe, this alternate reality, the Kwamis can actually come out and interact with their holders and the world. And Hawkmoth is like, oh, actually, yeah, but you're still gonna stay here. You're gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna get the Miraculous. And it's like, in the show, the way that it works is that the Kwamis enter the jewels, and they can't come out until the holder de-transforms again. But, okay, I'll let it go. I'll let go. We got this great musical number, and it's really fun, and Bryce, you can hear how much Bryce is loving this, and the animation you can see on his face, he is loving being evil. It's just really soaking it up. It's like, yes, yes, yes. Disney villain the heck out of this. Disney villain the heck out of this. Yes. Oh, it's just oozing charisma and confidence and evil. It's like, yes. This was so good. He then sneaks into a jail cell, and we see a bunch of villains and stuff in here that are like, huh, looks like we've actually got other superpowered villains and stuff. And then we meet the Mime and this other chick who's like the ringmaster. We never hear their names in the movie. And the Akumas really just give them powers and that's it. They don't transform or anything. I think the ringmaster did at least get a change in hair color, but that was like about it. And we see Hawkmoth surrounded by all these villains and stuff. I guess these technically would be the villains that we would see later on in the show. Or not the show, but there's a bit later on where we get a montage of them, fighting villains and gaining confidence and fame and stuff. But, yeah. We just get this whole sequence of him with all these villains, but only 2 of the villains that are surrounding him here actually, show up in the next fight, which is kind of weird. But, and then we also get Hawkmoth in a top hat, and it's like, yeah, but this is the kind of kooky silliness that you kind of would hope to see in a movie like this. Like, it's a superhero movie. It's you gotta have some fun with it. And it's like, yeah, like this whole sequence, this sequence right here is 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 would loop again. But anyways, enough of gushing about that scene. So we then get we go to the next day at school, and Marinette, or not school, they're heading to the fair. Marinette and Alia are walking towards to the fair, and they're just talking about Ladybug and Cat Noir. And this is why I emphasized before that Ladybug was water skiing by herself and Cat Noir was under the water. Because Alia shows Marinette pictures that she should not have. And she's trying to be like, oh yeah, I saw those 2 heroes and they're like perfect for each other. And Marinette's like, oh, no, they're not. And then Alia shows Marinette a picture of Ladybug and Cat Noir hanging upside down in the cathedral that nobody would have seen. She was not there to take that picture. And then we get the next picture which is Ladybug and Cat Noir water skiing. Ladybug is water skiing, and Cat Noir is hanging on to her for dear life. That's not what happened. That is not what happened. He was hanging on to the gargoyle the entire time. He was under the water. He was not hanging on to Ladybug. And then we get another picture again at the cathedral where they like smash into each other, which did not happen. And then another shot where he like catches her, which again did not happen. Wait, no, I think that actually did happen. She just happened to get a really random shot. Okay, I think that fourth shot actually did happen. But then we get more. It's like, oh, another shot of them running through the cathedral. A shot of them hanging from a balloon. Ladybug, being catapulted across Paris because her yo-yo is dragging her to the cathedral, and Cat Noir is reaching out to her like he's trying to save her. Like, but she didn't meet Cat Noir at that point. How did Alia get that picture? Like, what? How? How did Alia get these pictures? There is no way that she could have gotten these pictures. Like, girl, what are you doing? How did you get these? What? But anyways, they continue talking about how Ladybug and Cat Noir aren't a couple. And then we get a scene of the circus villains who are, committing a theft and everything. And that airs on TV, which then Tom is like, oh my gosh, they're heading towards the fair. I should go check on Marinette. And Sabine's like, no, Tom, you don't need to go check on Marinette. I'm sure she's fine. I'm sure they would have closed the fair if there was a problem. I'm still gonna go check on Marinette. Tom, no, don't do it. Just leave her alone. Yeah. And he goes anyways. So we get a scene of, that actually happens later, but we then get, after we see the robbery, we then cut to Adrian and Nino talking, and they're at the fair hanging out. And Adrian's like, hey, Nino, what do you do when you're in love with somebody? And Nino starts giving Adrian the absolute worst love advice he could possibly give. He's like, just whatever you do, don't be yourself. You gotta tell the ladies what they want. And then we cut back to Marinette and Alia, and they're doing the back and forth thing. But Marinette and Alia are now having a completely different conversation. And Alia's just like, do not fall for it. And basically their conversation is like, men are liars and men suck. And it's like, how did you get onto this topic? We completely miss a whole entire bit of their conversation. Like, how'd they get on this topic? But yeah. So, oh, that's so weird. So we then get, after that we get the whole scene with Tom and Sabine, and then Marinette and Alia meet up with Nino and Adrian. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go ride some rides and stuff. And Marinette's being all shy, like, maybe we could, all hang out together and stuff. It's like, oh, oh, no, yeah, we're not. No, it's like, oh, something going on between you two? Got any secrets? What? No, totally not. It's like, oh, well, this got interesting. It's like, okay, yeah, I could see this happening in the show. But then we get, we see Tom, who is standing behind them with a whole bunch of balloons. And it's like, Tom, I say this out of concern. Please get help. Please seek therapy. Anyways, so he's just sort of spying on them. And then Alia and Nino, Nino's crushing on Alia here. And it's like, okay, well, we're gonna go ride on some rides. You guys can catch up later. And it leaves Marinette and Adrian alone together. And they just, sort of talk a little bit. And it's like, this is nice. This is a really nice scene where they're just, standing there talking and kind of bonding. And Marinette is like, yeah, well, I mean, I should really get going. My dad, your dad? Yeah, he runs a patisserie. It's like, oh, that's cool that they're bakers. And they actually get to have this whole conversation. Then Marinette, like, you know, she drops her bag, and Adrian gets to see her sketches and tells her that they're really good. It's like, oh, this is such a cute scene. I love it. And then Tom looks at it, it's like, Dad? That's your dad? It's like, Candy Apple? It's like, no, Tom, leave them be. And then Adrian gets a call from his father, and it, like, you can see that it's actually, he's already transformed as Hawkmoth. He's like, no, you need to come home right now. It's like, oh, okay. I guess I gotta go. And so Adrian leaves. And then Marinette's like, oh my gosh, Dad, you're so embarrassing. And the Tom's like, what? I embarrass you? It's like, again, we could have cut this stuff. We didn't need this stuff. Because this is the last time in the entire movie that we see Tom being insecure about his relationship with Marinette. It leads nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. It's like, you could have cut this completely. You could have just had them, you know, getting ready to, you know, talk. You know, Marinette's, you know, Adrian sees Marinette's sketches. She's like, oh, you know, I got some macarons and everything. And then Adrian gets the call from his father to go home. That's the thing right there that you could have easily cut. It wouldn't have affected anything to give you more time to do other things. Like establishing how Marinette and Alia got onto the topic of Alia giving Marinette relationship advice. So, we then get the mime and the ringmaster come along, and oh my gosh. This hurt to watch. So the Ticketmaster is like, hey, you know, you guys don't get to go in for free. What makes you think you get to come in for free? And then the mime drops the shade, the metal shade onto the guy's hands. And it's like, oh my gosh, that man's hands are now broken. A family picture. Oh my gosh. Like that looks so painful. My fingers hurt looking at that. Like, that man had to go to the hospital. For sure. So, we then get Ollie and Nino are on the roller coaster. And then we get Sabrina and Chloe that are like, yeah, we're going to go on the Ferris wheel. And Chloe's like, but I'm afraid of heights. And they kind of don't really establish that they're going on the Ferris wheel. Like, we do see in the Ferris wheel in the back. But it's like, yeah, we're going on the ride. It's like, first time I watched that, I was like, but why would Chloe want to go on a roller coaster? Because it would ruin her hair. Why would Chloe want to do that? But they're going on the Ferris wheel, so like, it's fine. Also, Chloe, you're going on a Ferris wheel with Sabrina. A Ferris wheel. Is something you want to tell us? It's fine. We're not going to judge you. If you could be honest with us, Chloe. You just be honest. Just be honest with us. So anyways, the villains start wreaking havoc, and it causes the roller coaster that Alia and Nino are on to stop. Mind you, Marinette does not see this. She is walking away from the fair. She has no idea that Alia is in danger, or Nino, but mainly Alia. And then she hears the explosion, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is my time. I have to be confident. I have to do this. I have to be a hero and save everybody. In the show, Marinette also did not want to be Ladybug at first. She was nervous and she was scared. And then she sees Alia in danger and says, well, I still don't think I can do this, but Alia's in danger. I have to do something. And she pushed herself to do this because of Alia, because she wanted to save her friend. This was just Marinette being like, oh, there's an explosion and I need to just go and do my thing now. It's like, excuse me? Where did this come from? Anyways, so we then get another unnecessary musical scene. This could have very easily been her seeing that Alia was in danger and then saying, okay, I'm still scared. I still don't think I could do this, but Alia's in danger. She's my only friend. I need to do something. I have to help her. And then transforming. And this is where we finally get the transformation sequence. But instead of just her saying, oh, Alia's in danger, I need to go help her. She doesn't know Alia's in danger. She's just like, oh, let me just sing a song about how I'm finally ready to believe in myself and to save the day and to save the world. It's such a blink and you miss it thing. Well, no, it's not even a blink and you miss it. You totally miss it. You miss it. You can't even blink. There's no opportunity to blink because it's just, she just makes a 180. She goes from unconfident and unwilling to do anything to just flip a switch. Well, now she's confident and she wants to save the day and she's gonna go save everybody. And that's okay. Okay. Anyways, so she finally goes and fights the villains, and then Cat Noir comes in, and they actually, they have a moment of teamwork and everything, and they realize, huh, did you see that? Did you see what we just did? Wow, we are stronger together. And they do a pound it, and then they get ready to fight. But then they end up getting split up, because now she sees the roller coaster. They don't even acknowledge that, Ladybug doesn't even acknowledge that her friend is on the roller coaster. She's just like, oh, we need to do something. So Cat Noir goes after the Ferris wheel, which is now rolling down everywhere. And Ladybug goes after the roller coaster. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, they're doing that. Cat Noir, manages to hang on to the roller coaster, or not roller coaster, the Ferris wheel. And Chloe, the absolute brat, sees that Cat Noir is hanging on their booth and is like, yeah, no, you're not hanging on here. And she opens the door to completely, to just, remove his fingers from their cart. And it's like, no, wait, I'm the good guy! But because the mime is also trying to, pull him towards him with an invisible lasso. It's like, wait, no, I'm the good guy! But yeah, but then because the door is open, Chloe then falls out, Ladybug saves her. But we don't get anything of her being, grateful or anything, which, admittedly, that is within Chloe's character. In the show, Ladybug also saved Chloe, and Chloe becomes Ladybug's #1 fan for a while. Until the whole fiasco with Queen Bee happens and everything. But that is actually something that's okay for them to pull, because it's like, yeah, it wouldn't really add anything to the movie, and they kind of need time for other stuff. So, Ladybug manages to save the roller coaster, and then, she goes and helps Cat Noir, who's still fighting with the mime, and we get that shot in the movie, where he, bends his hand back and is like, ooh, that looks painful. But they realize that, they need to do something to stop this thing from, the Ferris wheel from, rolling around town and everything. And that's when Ladybug gets the idea of, she sees the Louvre, and she's like, okay, we're gonna, you use your stick, we're gonna redirect the Ferris wheel, use your stick, I'll use my yo-yo, we're gonna turn the Ferris wheel, and then, we're gonna get the giant balloon guy, because that's also a thing here, that's gonna roll in front of the Louvre, and and then the Ferris wheel is going to pop the balloon on top of the Louvre, and meanwhile they're still trying to stop the Ferris wheel and everything, with Ladybug hanging on to it with her yo-yo and Cat Noir helping her. So essentially it's both them trying to hold the Ferris wheel back, and also it being stopped by the giant balloon man, which stops the Ferris wheel and pops the balloon man at the same time. And then we get another shot of, reaching out the hand to help you up. So Cat Noir helps Ladybug up, and the Akumas then just straight up leave the villains. Like, that's it. They don't have to destroy the akumatized object or anything. The akumas were inside of the villains and they just leave them. And yet, the gargoyle had to die. I feel so bad for that man. He gets rejected by this woman that he loves. He plans this really sweet proposal, and then he gets akumatized, and then he dies. Like, can you imagine? Worst day ever. Oh my goodness. So, the akumas come out, and they do the whole hawk moth face in the sky made of akumas thing. And then Ladybug, opens up her yo-yo, and she purifies the akuma, and we get the bye-bye little butterflies. But that's it. It's bye-bye little butterflies, but there's also no time to de-evilize or anything like that, which, again, it's a movie, so they're not going to do anything like that, because, they do that in the show because it's reused animation, it's cheaper. But, yeah, they do kind of cut some of her catchphrases. They cut her catchphrases down to just bye-bye little butterflies, and that's about it. And then we get a constable come along, and he's definitely not any of the policemen that we saw on the show. And then he's actually like, oh my gosh, you guys just caught these villains that we've been after for months. We've been after these guys for months. You guys just caught them. It's like, oh my gosh, the police are actually grateful for the superheroes being out. I do kind of wish they had been Roger, but then again, if you've seen the show, him being grateful for the superheroes saving the day would also be kind of out of character. But anyways, Alia then comes up and starts filming them, and yeah, but at the same time, nothing gets fixed because we don't see them using their actual powers. Ladybug did not use her lucky charm, and Cat Noir had no need to use its cataclysm. There is not a single lucky charm in this entire movie. Yeah. But anyways, they do their pound it, and there's, news reports and everything. We get this little montage to the news. I do really like the little Easter egg. We see Nadia and another reporter on the news talking, and it's like Zag News. It's like, that's cute. But then we get Cat Noir and Ladybug, fighting a bunch of different villains. And, Gabriel, reacting. And the vast majority of these villains are completely original villains. We do get to see a shot where we see, newspapers, or not newspapers, but magazines talking about them. And we do get 2 Easter eggs. We do get to see Guitar Villain and the Bubbler. Those are the only 2 villains from the show that we see aside from the mime. So that was actually pretty cool Easter egg that we got to see the mime and the Guitar Villain. And then that's about it. And then Gabriel is getting frustrated. We also see Luca again, who still doesn't have his jewelry. I don't know why they had to change Luca. Why would you change Luca? Luca is fine the way he is. Why would you change Luca? But then we also get to see a montage of Marinette at school, and all the things that she messed up before at the beginning of the movie, she's now doing really well. And we also get to see that she's having a conversation with Adrian, but we don't get to hear any of the conversation, which is kind of frustrating, especially since he's showing her this little locket that he has with a picture of him and his mom when he was little. And it's like, could we have gotten this to be an actual scene, please? We were robbed. We were robbed. And we also, see the 4 of them at the movies together. Marinette's kind of watching Adrian, but then she realized, oh, he's looking at me. Yeah, I should stop being creepy. It's at least she recognizes it. She is aware. We also get to see the picnic, and we get to see this shot from the trailers of Tiki being like, yeah, touch hands with him. And then we get our product placement. There was a trailer that came out from Volkswagen. And we see Master Fu is training Ladybug and Cat Noir to drive cars. And part of the montage is them, like, doing this grand reveal of these two cars at a press event. It's like, they're actual Volkswagens. But they at least went the extra mile and made Ladybug's car, the Beetle. It's like, yes, that was nice. So, let me ask you something. Those of you who grew up in the 90s, how many of you wanted to grow up and get a Volkswagen Beetle and paint it red with black spots? I wanted to do it. My middle school best friend wanted to do it. Like, how many of y'all would love to actually have a Volkswagen Beetle painted red with some black spots on it? Like, that would be really cool. But anyways, so yeah, this whole press event, but it's like, in the show, we have an actual moment where they address the fact that they are superheroes, not celebrities. Because they had the whole thing with, you know, the Ladybug and Cat Noir movie was coming out in universe. You know, an animated film by self-insert director, who shall not be named. It's like, seriously, dude. Teenagers do that for their first fan fictions. Like, really? But anyways, in that episode, you know, there's the movie premiere, and Ladybug and Marinette's like, yeah, I'm not going to the premiere. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a superhero. And then there's also the other episode where Nadia got akumatized, and it's like, Nadia, we're here on your show to let the people of Paris know that they're safe. We're not here to be celebrities. It's like the show makes so much emphasis on the fact that they are heroes, they're not celebrities. But nope, the movie's like, yeah, they're celebrities. They're celebrities too. It's fine. I can't really fault the movie too much about that. It's just something that I noticed. Like, okay, that's pretty contradictory for the episode or for the show. And then we get this admittedly really cute scene of Ladybug and Cat Noir talking on the roofs, and like they're affectionately calling each other Watermelon and Idiot. It's like actually really cute. Like they're being playful, they're smiling at each other, they understand. And he's like, hey, can I tell you something? What? You punch really slow. So she goes to punch me and catches her, is like, see what I say? And then he goes to kick her and she's like, yep, I blocked you. And then they just sort of do some play sparring on the roof toss. It's actually really, really cute. And, you know, while they're doing their sparring and stuff, they end up in that position, which I gave the show flack for this. Because in the show, we actually see this happen twice. In the show, we see Felix push Ladybug up against the wall while he's dressed like Adrian and tries to go in for a kiss. And she's like, no! What part of no did you not understand? And punches him in the face. That was beautiful. Love it. And then we also get, in the season 4, episode 2, we see Kagami push Adrian up against the wall, and we see him uncomfortable, and she's like, this is you and you're perfect. That was so icky. No, that one scene completely ruined Feeligami for me. But here, this is different. This is actually done much better, because they were play fighting, they were just fooling around, and then Ladybug gets backed up against the chimney, and then he like just sort of falls on top of her, and they just stare at each other. But he does not take advantage of the situation, and when he sees she's uncomfortable, he lets her go. Like he just moves. He moves, and he respects her personal space. Yes, that is something that the show could not do. Oh my goodness. But yeah, she then leaves because you know they have that little bit of chemistry there. And, you know, he's like, oh my gosh, I really am in love with that girl. And then Ladybug's like, no, I can't be feeling this thing that I'm feeling because I'm in love with Adrian. You know, I have to think about Adrian, not Cat Noir. So we then get back to the school, and we see this advertisement that there's a masquerade coming up, and Alia and Marinette are talking. Alia's like, yeah, I'll probably ask Nino, and she's like, yeah, I'll ask Adrian. And then Chloe's like, no, you're not gonna ask Adrian. That's hilarious. You, a baker girl, going to the dance with Adrian? That's what? As if. And then Marinette finally lets Chloe have it. She's like, excuse me, the adults are talking? It's like, yes. 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 Yeah, no, the adults are talking. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So we then get Marinette. She's making this boat, and I saw somebody posted on Twitter. I didn't look at Twitter until after I saw the movie. But I saw somebody posted something interesting on Twitter. We see Marinette with this bow tie that she's going to give to Adrian when she asks him to the dance. And then later on at the dance, even though he rejects her, he's still wearing the bow. It's like, okay. How did he get that? But anyways, that's further at the end. So, Marinette and Tiki are talking, and Tiki's like, but don't you have other things you need to worry about right now? It's like, yeah, but it's calm right now. It's like, yeah, that or it's the calm before the storm. And then her earrings start to glow, because apparently when they need each other, their earrings start to glow. It's like, see what I mean? It's like, wow, Tiki. Sassy Tiki is best Tiki. But then we get, this part kind of made me mad. Ladybug goes to meet up with Cat Noir, and she's like, okay, let's make this quick, because I got a long day tomorrow, and I need my beauty sleep. And we see that the chunk of the floor is missing, and there's scratch marks along the wall. And then she finds Cat Noir's baton on the floor, and she's like, oh my gosh, so did something happen to Cat Noir? Kitty, are you alright? And then apparently he can just retract his weapon at will, because Cat Noir is like, yeah, I'll take that back now. Aw, that's so sweet that you care about me. And it's like, dude, that was so mean. Like, oh my gosh. That is not something you do you don't do that. Fortunately for him, Ladybug manages to brush it off. It's like all that she really does is do like a playful, I hate you. And it's like, that's it. It's like, okay. It's like, at the very least, she didn't take it bad, but she still could have. So anyways, he brings her into the theater where his mom used to perform. And there's a whole bunch of cats around. And I absolutely love it. This man and his cats. And she's like, I'll bet you it's like, what? You take all your dates here? And that's when he tells her something that he probably shouldn't. Because in the show, they are not allowed to tell each other anything about their personal lives, because they have to protect their secret identities at all costs. But here, instead, he tells her about how his mom died and how he hasn't been able to come back here to this theater since she passed away, and that a little bit of himself was lost that day too. And she's like, oh, I'm really sorry. He's like, but I don't feel that way anymore, and it's because of you. And it's like, oh, wow. And then he's like, there's something I want to show you, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mess it up. And she repeats some of the advice that she got at the beginning of the movie. It's like, there's, I don't remember the exact line, but it's along the lines of, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Or it's like, fear is not the enemy, something like that. But anyways, so Cat Noir starts playing on the piano, and we get probably the second best song in the movie. I'm sorry. The Hawkmoth song slapped. It was amazing. This song is pretty high up there too. The Hawkmoth song was a 10 out of 10. I'd say this is a 9. 9.5. The Hawkmoth song just barely brushed this off. The Marinette song at the beginning was a 3. So this is high praise compared to that. But anyways, they have their love ballad that we've been waiting for so long. It's like the first song we ever heard, and I managed to avoid listening to the song. So this was actually my first time hearing this song in any language, let alone English. And it's a really nice moment. Like, this is what musicals are supposed to be, where the song is a part of the story and it gives you context that you can't really get through dialogue alone. Like, yes, you can get it through dialogue alone, but like, it's enhanced. The song is meant to enhance the moment, not stop it altogether. So yeah, we get this really beautiful duet between the two of them where they're singing with each other and then they're just parkouring across the rooftops of Paris. And like, you see her being in love with Cat Noir and he's in love with her, and like, she's like so grateful to have him in her life, and she just loves having him around and everything, and how much, you know, he has helped her to be her best self. And it's like, gosh, this is such a great moment. Ah, loved it. Love it, love it, love it. Hawkmoth's song is still my favorite song. This is easily my second favorite. Easily right up there. It's almost tied, just barely not a tie. But anyways, it's so adorable. And then the song comes to its end with them about to kiss, but then she realizes what's going on. It's like, oh my gosh, no, I can't be in love with you because I'm in love with Adrian. I'm sorry, but there's someone else. And she leaves him alone on the roof, and it's like, oh, my poor boy's heart is broken. And this is actually done a bit better in the show, because in the show, he would hear her say I'm in love with someone else, and it's like, well, she'll fall for me someday, and then he keeps trying. But here, no, it's actually very soft-spoken, and you can see it on his face how upset he is that this isn't gonna work. And it's like, you're in love with someone else. My gosh. So me falling in love with you and finally opening up my heart for the first time since my mom passed away, it was all for nothing. And it's like, oh, that hurts. Though admittedly, we just found out that he locked his heart away a moment ago. And a big part of the reason why it hurts is because we're already attached to Adrian from the show, and we know everything that he's gone through. It's really hard to get invested in the characters in this movie. It really is. They at least tried. They tried here, at the very least. You know, they established this part. And then we take Adrian, and then Adrian goes home, and Gabriel, looking pretty disheveled actually, which is like, is the Miraculous hurting him or something? Because like, they kind of hinted towards that earlier, it was that they don't actually establish if it's actually hurting him or not. But anyways, Gabriel is like, you know, why were you gone out so long? And Adrian is just like so done with Gabriel, like, it's like, and it's like, do not talk to me like that. I am your father. It's like, no, my father died a long time ago. And he just storms off. And I guess it's supposed to be them like trying to make Gabriel kind of sympathetic, but because this is literally the first time we see them interacting, aside from that one phone conversation, that's it. Because we only have 2 scenes before this that tell us really what kind of relationship Adrian has with his father. And it's so hard to connect to this scene unless you've seen the show and know what Adrian has gone through in the show. But this is not the show. But anyways, Gabriel seems somewhat upset that his son just ran off. But there is a bit of disconnect between the voice acting and the animation, I'll admit. Like, Keith always kills it, but there are times when the animation makes him look like he's like just really sad and does nothing left to live for. Whereas, you know, Keith is still coming in here like, "Wahaha! I love being evil, And I hate Ladybug and Cat Noir, and I'm perfectly fine with ignoring my son because he will understand one day. And it's like, I'm not sure how it is in the French version, but there is a little bit of disconnect at times between Keith's admittedly amazing performance. It just doesn't really match the tone of the animation. But anyways, so we get to Marinette at school. She's already completely forgotten about the whole thing with Cat Noir. And, you know, Tiki's trying to convince her to go and, you know, ask Adrian to the dance. And, you know, he's still kind of upset about, you know, what happened with Ladybug. So he's like, you know, really quiet, and it's like, when Marinette asks him to the dance, and he's like, no, I can't go. There's someone else. And it's like you see, like, he looks like he's upset, and she's upset, and it's like, he just sort of slumps off because he's just thinking about Ladybug. And then Chloe comes in, and it's like, see, I told you, he is mine. He would never go out with a baker girl like you. And it's like, can somebody please throw her out of another Ferris wheel? Please. Somebody please throw her out of another Ferris wheel. So Marinette is sad, and she throws the box away, which is what, you know, the person I saw on Twitter was talking about. It's like, how does Adrian get the bow later? But anyways, we then see Marinette crying in her room, and we get another song. And while this does have the same energy as the song from the first scene, this at the from the beginning of the movie, not necessarily the first scene, but it actually fits this scene. What we got at the beginning of the movie did not fit what was happening on screen. But this actually does fit very well. It's a very nice song. And it does a really good job of telling you just how upset Marinette is and how hopeless she feels right now. And yeah, this is a really nice song. They did a good job. Probably my favorite Marinette song. So yeah, I'll give them that. It still doesn't compare to the other two songs, but you know, this is still pretty high up there. One of the things that really sets the song apart, though, I do want to talk about, is that the actress actually starts to belt out a little bit. Like, things, like when things are getting, you know, she's like really depressed. Obviously, I can't play the song for copyright issues, but it's like, and it's just really sad. Things like, you know, kind of, you know, belting it out and stuff. That's not the tune or anything, but it's like, kind of like that. It's like, you know, she finally actually like belts it out. Like, it starts off slow, and then she goes up on the roof, and then it starts to actually pick up a little bit. It's like, yes, that's what we needed in the first song. But anyways, so yeah. So we get Hawkmoth again. He's standing in front of the painting of Emily, just like that was in the show. And then he akumatizes himself. But unlike in the show, where he has to detransform, he doesn't detransform, and he basically just boosts his powers, which, you know, actually does make sense for both the movie and the show. Because in the show, we actually do get to see that you can akumatize someone who's already wearing a Miraculous, and it boosts the powers that they already have from their Miraculous. So he akumatizes himself, and then he gets all these butterflies, all these akumas and stuff, and these like energy wings and everything. And he's just, you know, getting ready to just like, yeah, I'm done. This is it. This is the final battle. I'm going to destroy Paris. To heck with it all. This is it. And Paris just, yeah, goes to heck in a handbasket. Oh my goodness. Yeah, everybody starts freaking out. They run around, and then Marinette, you know, she's on her roof. She's feeling sad about herself, and she notices that the sky is purple, and there's purple lightning, and everybody's freaking out down below. And I'm not sure why she took her earrings off before. Yeah, but she holds the earrings in front of her and she's like, okay, it's time for Ladybug. And Paris is on fire. Everything is on fire. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, never seen this much destruction up till now. And there's like a mom and a little girl that almost die. They're running. Ladybug's, trying to tell them, to take cover. They're running from this, from these like purple meteors and smoke and stuff, and all the butterflies. And, the little girl trips. The mom goes back. Good mom. She goes back to save her daughter. She doesn't just abandon her. She's a good mom. Don't know who these people are, but that's a good mom. The Ladybug comes in and she sweeps them up, pulls them to the side, and manages to save them just in time. And they almost get hit by a car. There's a lot of almost getting hit by a car in this movie. And then Adrian's ring, he's moping in his room, and Adrian's ring starts to glow. And this is the part where I'm like, no, 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 ew, ew, why are you doing this, ew? And the reason I went like this is from the song that they played. There is a public domain song. I forget what it's called. And while this was not the original intent of the song, nowadays, it's associated with adult fun time videos. Which, if you know what that means, you know what that means. If you don't know what that means, you are too young to know what that means. Yeah, it was so uncomfortable hearing that song in this movie. And they play it twice. And it's like... Then I go on Twitter and people are like, oh, the soundtrack was 10 out of 10. I'm like, yeah, that's what I think when I hear public domain adult fun time songs in a children's movie. A family picture, as Nostalgia Critic would say. Yeah. No, please don't. Please do not. They are only 14. Gosh. And then he sees his ring glowing and he's like, oh, well, now she wants me. Now she comes back. It's like, honey, please. And then he continues to sulk. And then we cut back to Ladybug. Everything's still on fire. And she's trying to fight the Akumas and, all this. And she tries to hold it back with her yo-yo and everything, but she just can't. And she ends up getting hurt. Also, this one dumb kid, like, oh, I'm gonna take a selfie, lol. It's like, get out of here. Do you want to die? So she gets blown back and gets hurt. Like, she's actually hurt. Which, if you've seen the show, doesn't make as much sense because their costumes are supposed to make them nearly invulnerable. But, okay. We're separating it from the show. Stop comparing it to the show. This is own continuity, and I guess their superhero costumes don't work like that. They're magical, but they can still get hurt. And apparently pieces of the costume can just be cut off, but we'll get to that. So we then get Plag, who's like, you know what, kid? No, we're done with this. You have to go now. And he shows Adrian what's going on outside the window. And it's like, Paris is on fire. Get off your butt. It's like, okay, fine. And then he transforms. And instead of opening the window, he just smashes right through the window. Like, okay. Like, they even confirmed that, yeah, he smashes through the window. Because the bars along the window, they bend and break. And yeah, you can... The glass shatters. He went through the window. Yeah. Adrian, what are you doing? And then Ladybug, like we see her, she is very hurt. Like, she is out of it. She is hurt. The Cat Noir comes along and saves her. And then he's just so snarky and rude towards her. And he's like he makes these really nasty comments. Like, what, your boyfriend couldn't be here to save you? And it's like, not now, Cat Noir. It's like, yeah, like, Ladybug says what I'm thinking. Not now, Cat Noir. This is not the time for it. And, like, it honestly feels kind of forced that he's, like, so upset with her for this. Like, dude, this is not the time for it. So he's just like, okay, well, you know what? You sit back. I'll handle this. And he goes off to fight Hawkmoth. She's like, wait, no, Cat Noir, we're stronger together. But she doesn't go after him. Like, yeah, she's hurt, but it's like, you don't want him to go by himself. He's not waiting for you. Just go and follow him. But instead he's like, nope. He just, parkours up the Eiffel Tower. And we get, admittedly, the scene that people wanted to see in the finale of the show. Even though we got this exact thing the episode before the finale, but whatever. So he goes up to the top of the Eiffel Tower and has his own solo fight against Hawkmoth. Which, on its own, is like, if you've seen the show, it's satisfying. Because you know everything that Adrian has gone through because of his father, because of Hawkmoth, because of this man in front of him. And it's satisfying if you've seen the show. In the movie, you get 3 little tidbits that his situation with his father are not that great. And he doesn't even know that's his father yet. And they fight solo. They fight against each other without Ladybug here. And then, Cat Noir is using his Cataclysm. Yes, he used his Cataclysm for the first time in the entire movie. We're an hour and 18 minutes into the movie, and this is the first time that we see their special, unique powers. The Cataclysm, unlike in the show, where it just turns everything, like, decayed, it creates, like, this liquid that spills out and then covers the Eiffel Tower in, like, this black, oozing liquid. And Ladybug sees that this is going on. He's like, Cat Noir! Just standing there, like, Cat Noir! And then the Eiffel Tower starts to fall apart, and she does nothing. She just sits there and watches everything fall to pieces. Cat Noir is struggling to, get to the top so that he can get to safety. And she watches as he falls from the broken Eiffel Tower into the water. We get the slow-mo shot of Cat Noir falling into the water. And it's like, oh my gosh, Cat Noir, he's gonna die. Ladybug does nothing. She sits there and watches. And you see Cat Noir, who's like, actually looking afraid. Like, oh my gosh, am I gonna die? And like, when he lands in the water, he's still conscious when he hits the water. And then he falls unconscious when something knocks him in the back of his head. Doesn't do anything to try and, like, he's not moving around or anything, but you see his eyes are open before he gets hit. So it's like, why aren't you trying to get back up to the surface? So Ladybug finally gets off her butt and dives into the water to save Cat Noir. And I do really appreciate that, like, one thing I noticed that I absolutely love is that they actually show their hair wet for like when they're in the water, and then once they're out of the water, their hair is no longer wet. It's completely dry. Completely dry. Cat Noir's hair is still kind of limp, but that's about it. Then Hawkmoth gets out a brand new power, and I guess this is from him being akumatized, but he now has psychic powers that come out of nowhere, and basically, just does a force chokehold on Ladybug, and then using his new force powers, pulls the earrings out of her ears, and then Tiki appears. She doesn't transform back yet until he tosses her to the side, and then she transforms back. That's it. Like, okay. So, and then the earrings go into the butterfly Miraculous. Like, okay. That's That's a thing that just happened. And then he becomes more powerful, sends out more Akumas that wreck the city even more. It's like, dude, the horse is already dead. Stop beating it. And then Marinette, like, Tiki is, like, talking to her. And it's like, Marinette, you gotta get up. It's like, but, Tiki, Hawkmoth already has your Miraculous. How are you doing this? Marinette, like, tries to get up, but she's like, no, I can't do this. I can't, not without Ladybug. I can't do anything without Ladybug. And then Gabriel, completely forgetting that he has force powers now, picks Cat Noir up by his face, and then starts using his force powers to pull the ring off of his finger, and he's like, and he finally manages to regain consciousness, and you know, closes up his fist, and then he punches Hawkmoth, which leaves a scratch on his face somehow. Okay, even though his fist was balled up, but now Gabriel is like using his butterflies to like attack Cat Noir, and like pieces of his costume come off while he's being attacked, and that includes a piece of his mask that gets torn off. It's like, in the show, the costumes cannot be taken off unless you specifically de-transform back. They're magic costumes. Lady Wi-Fi tried to remove Ladybug's mask, but it was glued to her skin because, it's magic. But okay, yes, I get it. This is not the show. This is the movie. It's its own continuity. Moving on. So, like, there's so many parts where they rely on you having watched the show, and other parts where they're like, oh yeah, you don't need to watch the show. You'll still get this. Oh my goodness. But yeah, he then is about to like try to kill Cat Noir, and then Marinette like, you know, catches him out of the air, and they tumble down, and then Marinette lets go and she tumbles away again. And then Hawkmoth goes over, he grabs Cat Noir again, and then he, you know, shakes him a little bit, and he sees through his broken mask that it's Adrian. And this is the part where I'm like, people apparently like this. I went on Twitter and people loved this scene. I hate this scene. People wanted this in the show. So he sees that Cat Noir is his son, and then he's like, no, Adrian! And then he de-transforms. He clears the sky. He de-transforms, and then he's like, no, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to bring your mother back. I'm so sorry, Adrian. I never wanted to hurt you. And then that's it. The fight's over. Adrian and Gabriel hug, because it's like, oh, I don't want you to hate me. Please don't hate me. So they hug. And it's like, yeah, you did not earn this, Gabriel. This was over so fast. In the show, we get to see this whole drawn-out fight of Lady Noir versus Hawkmoth, or Monarch. And, you know, they fight for this really long time, and then she actually manages to talk him down and make him realize that what he has done is wrong, that what he has been doing is hurting Adrian, it's that he's making excuses for himself, because he doesn't want to face the reality that his wife is gone, and that, you know, he still has a son to at least look after. But instead he makes these excuses to it so that he can ignore his son and terrorize Paris to try and steal jewelry from children. But yeah, no, apparently this is the version that people like. But yeah, he's like, what have I done? Oh, please don't hate me, son. And then they hug. And then we just cut to Nadia being like, oh, what a shocking twist. Gabriel Agreste, fashion icon, was Hawkmoth all along. It's like, excuse me? We do get, I will say this, we do get a little bit more backstory of Gabriel, like, trying to explain himself to Adrian, being like, I loved your mother so much. And when you came along, it was like a miracle to us, and our family was complete, and we were so happy. And I just wanted to bring your mother back. I wanted to give you back your mother. Yeah. This is the version people like best. It's the exact same backstory as the show. But people like this better, somehow. It's just flip a switch and things are better. Oh, my son is Cat Noir. Okay, I'm done. Why? Oh my goodness. That hurt. So yeah. Then Marinette gets her earrings back and she transforms back into Ladybug. And apparently Adrian never noticed her. And then she and Cat Noir get to talk to Master Fu, who comes along and is like, "Oh yes, I'm the one you met before, and you need to, and you need to realize the true source of your power." So Ladybug then goes up to the rooftops, and in the show, Ladybug's power is that she can use Lucky Charm, where she creates something that helps her to win the fight. And then once the fight is over, she throws it into the air and shouts, "Miraculous Ladybug!" And then magic ladybugs appear and they fix everything that was destroyed. In the movie, though, she just points at stuff and she gets these pink and white laser hands that anything she points at with these laser hands gets immediately fixed. Okay. If you've seen the show, then you know that, oh yeah, this is just part of her power. If you haven't seen the show, then this just comes so out of left field. It feels like a Deus Ex Machina. And, like, And again, I know this is separate from the show and everything. It's its own continuity, but this just feels so forced. There were so many things that we didn't need in this movie, and so many things that we needed in the movie but couldn't have because we were focusing on things like Tom being insecure about being a parent. But anyways, we then go to the masquerade. Chloe's a brat, and Marinette, is like, okay, yeah, whatever, Chloe. And then we see Adrian in the courtyard, and, he's just, messing with his ring. He's like, "Oh, I miss you, Ladybug." And then Marinette walks out, and she's like, "Cat Noir?" Because he is wearing a mask. And, he's like, at first he's thinking it's Ladybug, but then he realizes, oh, wait, that's Marinette. And then she comes out and she takes his mask off. Like, this part was actually kind of cute. She takes his mask. She walks up to him really slowly and kind of shyly, but she's also like smiling and everything. And she takes his mask off and then puts it on her face. So she's like, "You can also call me Ladybug." And then he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's you!" And he's so happy. And then they lean in, get ready to kiss, and then it cuts before they kiss. In the show, they at least had the decency to let the two kiss at the end of the finale. But no, we don't even get to see them kiss. Like, we don't even get that. It's like, okay, they're together, they know each other's identities, the end. Gosh. I was looking forward to this movie. I was hoping that this would be a good movie, and that not only would this be a good movie, but that it would also show that, how much better Miraculous can be when self-insert egotistical director is not involved in the slightest. But no, this wasn't that good either. This really did not work out. We do get one other scene at the end, which is kind of like sequel bait. It's like they're kind of like teasing about Mayura. Because we see Natalie go, down into the basement, which is different from before. In this version, it's more like the painting opens up and then she walks through it versus having an elevator that's, that's activated by pressing the buttons on the painting. And then she walks over to the sanctuary, and she sees Emily there. And we get this one last shot of Emily, who is, unconscious, and we see the peacock Miraculous around her neck. And it's like, sequel with Mayura? Mayura in movie 2? But, yeah. That's it. That is the Ladybug and Cat Noir movie. It tried. Oh my gosh. There were good things in this movie. I cannot deny that there were good things in this movie. But there were also so many things in this movie that were just not good. Like, it was bad. I did not like this movie. Like, we were missing so much stuff that we needed for the story itself. And we had so many extra things that are like, haha, this was in the show, that have absolutely no bearing on the story whatsoever. Tom being insecure about his relationship with Marinette does not come into play again. Throughout the entire second half of the movie, they just completely drop it. We get this completely useless scene that establishes Gabriel as a fashion designer before a actually useful scene that also establishes Gabriel as a fashion designer. And if we hadn't gotten that first useless scene, we could have gotten other development. Oh my goodness. The funny thing is, I liked the finale. I was one of the very few people who did like the finale, and I gave that a rave review. A lot of people liked this movie. I did not like this movie. Same people who didn't like the finale liked this movie. Oh my goodness. So yeah, go ahead. Give me all the dislikes, comment down below about how I'm so wrong about this movie. Go ahead, tear me apart in the comments. Tell me how I'm such a horrible Miraculous fan because I didn't like the Ladybug and Cat Noir movie. But if you also agree with some of my points, feel free to also comment down below as well. If you liked this movie and want to try and convince me of how good this movie is, feel free to do so. I would love to hear your opinions. I'm looking forward to seeing other people's videos on this movie as well. This video is 2 hours long. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos from me. We do all sorts of fun stuff on this channel, including playing video games, we do art, and also sometimes talk about cartoons and anime. So if you enjoy stuff, then be sure to ring that bell icon and never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I hope you all have a very magical day.